He was really eager and a bit nervous at the airport. He hadn't seen her for 2 years and wasn't sure if she would remember him. Finally, the plane landed, and people started coming out. When he saw her and her friend turn the corner, he knelt down to greet her. He had been looking forward to this moment for a long time and will always remember it. When Army Staff Sergeant Tom Hansen first met Taylor the Labrador, he had no idea how strong their friendship would become. He had gone to Iraq once, and now he was going to Afghanistan, after learning to work with military service dogs. Taylor was a dog trained to find dangerous things like bombs, guns, and vehicles. They started as work partners, but became much more. On their first mission, Sergeant Hansen and Taylor were still getting used to each other. They were in a team of 11 soldiers and were told to search a mountain pass. About 20 minutes into the mission, Taylor's behavior changed. Sergeant Hansen knew that meant she had found something, but she kept moving around without showing exactly where. The soldier got frustrated. He walked up to Taylor and realized there was a bomb in the ground just an inch from his foot. This experience taught him an important lesson. He said, "I learned that day to always trust my dog and believe that something is there." This trust made their bond stronger and helped keep them and their team safe. Taylor was really good at finding explosive traps that bad guys set up. When there were fights, Sergeant Hansen would tell Taylor to stay safe and then start shooting. After each mission, Taylor got a ball as a reward. Sergeant Hansen believes Taylor is the reason he's still alive. Before working with Taylor, he got hurt a few times by explosive stuff that made him hit his head hard. He says, "I'm really lucky I still have all my arms and legs. I thank Taylor for it. She's the one I rely on. It's all because of her that I came back alive. I wouldn't want anyone else." After serving in Afghanistan twice, he stopped being in the military. But he really wanted Taylor, his military dog, to come live with him. Usually, the first handlers of military dogs can adopt them when they're done working. But when it was time for Sergeant Hansen to go home, another handler needed Taylor's skills to find bombs, so she stayed on the job. It was tough for the soldier to be apart from Taylor. They had saved each other's lives many times, so she felt like family. He said, "It's really hard to say goodbye. That's the toughest part of being a dog handler." But he didn't know he would get to see her again. When he left the military, he came back to the United States and was at a base in Missouri. There, he started a relationship with Army Staff Sergeant Emily Donner, who was a medic and had served with him in Afghanistan. She was stationed at a base in Georgia, far away, but they made their relationship work despite the distance. Eventually, they got engaged and moved to Boise, Idaho, where Emily is from. But Sergeant Hansen never stopped thinking about Taylor. When Taylor turned 10 years old, she could finally stop working. It had been 2 years since Sergeant Hansen had last seen her in Afghanistan. When he heard that Taylor was retiring, he knew he wanted to bring her to live with him. But it wasn't easy. Even though handlers usually get the chance to adopt their retired dogs, they have to pay for the dog's travel to their new home, which can cost a lot, maybe thousands of dollars. Sergeant Hansen didn't have that much money. Luckily, there was someone else who could help. Molly Oliver is a flight attendant for United Airlines. She really loves animals and has a lot of respect for the military. A few years ago, she started helping retired military dogs get back to their handlers in the U.S. She takes care of the dogs and flies them on her own. She had already brought 3 doggy families back together when she heard about Taylor and Sergeant Hansen. She knew she had to help them too. Molly went to the base in Missouri, where Taylor was staying after coming back from Afghanistan. She brought Taylor with her on a plane, even getting them nice first-class seats. Finally, they reached Boise. Molly and Taylor walked through the airport and met up with Sergeant Hansen. When Taylor saw him, she ran to him. It was a very emotional and touching moment. Sergeant Hansen said, "I think she recognized me right away and knew who I was, especially from the sound of my voice. She knew it was Dad, but it really clicked once we got her back home. She followed me everywhere and didn't leave my side, so she knew she was finally home," added Sergeant Hansen. Even though Taylor is now an older dog, Sergeant Hansen is focused on making their remaining time together special. He promised, "I'll make her retirement really nice. I'll pamper her and do whatever I can to make her last days happy and fun." After being apart for 2 years, he doesn't plan to separate from her again. He wants to take her everywhere with him, just to have more time together. He said, "I want to spend as much time with her as possible, for as long as we have. She really deserves it, especially after going through tough times." Being a military dog in a war zone was hard on Taylor. As their deployment was ending, Taylor started acting differently. Sergeant Hansen explained, "She wouldn't work if I had a weapon. She started figuring things out, and it got tough for her." He also mentioned that dogs can experience something similar to PTSD, just like humans can. Having Molly's help to bring Taylor back to her dear handler was really a wonderful thing. Sergeant Hansen said, "Molly is like family to us now. What she did for Taylor and me was truly amazing. I can't thank her enough for making us meet again." Molly, on her side, started a new effort to keep reuniting dogs with their handlers, even forming a nonprofit. She wanted to bring more dogs back home. When she asked Sergeant Hansen to join the organization's board, he agreed. His love for dogs goes beyond his connection with Taylor. Before Sergeant Hansen and Taylor got back together, he rescued a boxer named Harley. Harley had been hurt and left alone with a hurt leg and throat. This is one of the reasons why Sergeant Donner fell in love with him. She said, "If you care for animals so much, you have to be a good person." We completely agree. Sergeant Hansen's love for animals and his kind actions didn't stop with just Taylor. Before being reunited with Taylor, he had already shown his compassion by rescuing a boxer named Harley. Harley had been hurt, shot in the leg, and left abandoned with a crushed throat. This act of kindness was one of the things that attracted Sergeant Donner to him. She felt that anyone who cares so much for animals must be a good-hearted person, and she admired that. Molly's help in reuniting Sergeant Hansen and Taylor was truly a blessing. She had become like family to them, and Sergeant Hansen couldn't express enough gratitude for what she had done. Molly had taken it upon herself to continue her mission of bringing more dogs back to their handlers, and she was even in the process of starting a non-profit organization to make that happen. When Molly invited Sergeant Hansen to join the organization's board, he accepted gladly. His love and concern for dogs extended far beyond his special connection with Taylor. The story of Taylor, Sergeant Hansen, and Molly highlighted the powerful bonds that can form between humans and animals. Their journey not only brought a loyal soldier and his devoted dog back together, but also inspired a greater effort to reunite other military dogs with their handlers. It's a testament to the incredible impact that animals can have on our lives and the extraordinary lengths people are willing to go to care for and protect these loyal companions. With their shared love for animals and the heartwarming story of reuniting Taylor and Sergeant Hansen, Molly's efforts began to gain attention. The nonprofit organization she was creating started to receive support from individuals who were touched by the powerful connections between military dogs and their handlers. They focused on raising funds to cover the expenses of reuniting retired military dogs with their handlers and providing support for the dogs' care and well-being in their retirement years.